this out. So, kind of funny. I was looking for the other watering thing that you put on the bottom of each tier to redistribute the water to the next tier, and it was inside this bag. And inside this bag is the fruit of my labor a couple of years ago in the Greenstalk. I don't know if I actually put it in the Greenstalk or not. Anyway, they did really well. Um, and these are two of the sweet potatoes that I got a couple years ago. And they've already, I mean, they've been in this bag for, gosh, 2 years, just like in a corner of my basement, in a, dark, semi dry environment. And that's actually pretty interesting. I might replant these. I don't really want to replant them in the green stalk because this is going to be all fresh cocoa core, vermiculite, and perlite, and these were planted outside. So um, even though they are inside, I don't really want to risk contaminating those. So I've cleaned out the bottom of these just to try to get any big pieces of dust and debris out of the way. I think I have enough. I definitely have enough for two levels. I'm hoping I have enough for 3 levels, but I might not. So we'll definitely get 2 done today, and then we'll see about a third. This, I'm realizing, is probably too small for this, but it will have to do for today. So I got these bases. I think that they're called 18-inch bases, and so the thing to know about these, at least the larger ones, is that when you are looking at the measurements, you're looking at the measurement of like the top edge, which is always flared out significantly more than the inside edge, or the this edge right here. So 18 inches is this piece, and I think it's 16.3 at the base. So just make sure if you're buying these for something really big, like a Greenstalk, that you truly are getting the right size. I did do several measurements and did a little bit of research. And anyway, if you're buying something with the intent of doing the same thing, you may be able to get away with a 17-inch. I think that this company did offer a 17-inch, but I mean, that's barely an inch right there. And so I just want to go with 18, just in case. If I have a lot of water down here for whatever reason, I have enough space to, probably put a hand pump or something like that to siphon it out. And obviously it's not, that's not super stable, but I'm going to be shoring that up at some later point. So for today, I'm going to pot this one up, pot the other one up, and then a third we'll see. And this will just be living in a corner of my basement, near my current grow tent. And then I'll probably rig up some lights, probably in 2 or 3 days when I have some time. Okay. Perlite, vermiculite, where's my other got cocoa core, vermiculite and perlite here, and okay, something tells me I'm not gonna have enough grow medium. I never do. I never do. All right, so I'm going to take this out. The base of the Greenstalk on top of this wheeled thing is actually on its own pretty stable because I don't know if you can see that, but the base fits just between these feet. Unfortunately, I will be hand watering this, so I kind of don't want to leave the bottom just empty. Doesn't seem like a good idea. Okay. Let's knot this side. Perlite don't usually have an issue with, but vermiculite I definitely don't like it on my hands. I have a 9-month-old, and having to grab him at the drop of a hat. I just don't like, having that on my hands. So I'm going to wear gloves in case anyone is wondering. For drainage purposes, I'm aiming for 30% perlite, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough. Probably should not even do this inside, to be completely honest. Well, that sucks. What can I do about that? I may go pour this outside and come back, because I didn't really think of that. The perlite is pretty dusty. I don't really want that floating around in the air. Yeah, let me go do that. And then I can wet it down a little bit. That'll help. Okay, I'm going to excuse myself for a few minutes and go pour this perlite outside. and then I'm going to come back. I think that that's the best way to do this. Okay, so for the amount of perlite I had and vermiculite I wanted to put in, I actually got more than I was expecting. So I might be able to do a third tier. That'll depend on how much cocoa core I have, which is, I do have a lot, but I don't know if the other batch is ready yet. The moisture content might be a little bit off. Let's see. This one's actually pretty wet as well. I steamed these bricks of cocoa core to get rid of any potential pathogens or larvae that would have come in with it. This is pretty wet, so and vermiculite or perlite doesn't hold any moisture, and so I'm hoping that once it's fully mixed, the moisture, if I let it sit for half an hour or so, the moisture will kind of even itself out. We can go from there. I really hadn't thought this all the way through. I don't really consider myself like a regular potted plant person. Yeah, I'm always planting in a raised bed where I always have material and I'm basically just adding to it, adding worm castings and compost and all of those things. But to be able to like mix exactly the ratio that you're looking for is just not something that I'm really used to. And I'm not really an indoor plant person. And most of those are, potted in like something that you can control what's in it. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I did wet the perlite and vermiculite mix before I brought it in. But there's probably definitely some dry pockets in here. So there will be a little bit of dust, but not the same amount as if I had done this whole process inside, which I should not do. I will admit I did it once. It was a much smaller amount, thankfully. I also think like there are a lot of people who all they have is apartments. They don't have a parking space in a garage that they can like just post up in because it's like yours, you pay for that spot. You might not have a balcony, you might not have a front yard. Like, where are you supposed to do this stuff? So, well ventilated area if you don't have an outdoor space. so near a window, with a fan blowing out, if you can manage that. But you know, a lot of people can't figure out the airflow in their place. So, all right, we're getting there. Ooh, that was dry. That was dry down there. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. Anything that pops out of the holes below, I'm just gonna pick up in this mat and throw back in. And if this is not like the most well mixed thing ever, which it's pretty well mixed, but if I don't like get into the corners, that's fine. At the end of the day, after the next maybe 35 days, this is going to be just one plant. I'll tell you more about that later, but I have sweet potato slips behind me, so I will wind up with one per level. I want to make sure I keep track of the time here. Okay. All right, that looks pretty well mixed to me. Whew. That is an arm workout. That was not something that I thought I'd be saying. Obviously, I don't have the best positioning, so that's part of it. I'm gonna mix up this next one. I definitely don't have enough coca coir in here, but I do have another batch behind me on the other side of the basement that I will grab. And then I can fill out the rest of this stuff. Okay. Again, this is why I wear gloves. All of that would be on my skin, and I definitely don't want that. This gets rid of 90% of it, and the rest of it I can shower later. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I will be only planting out one level. So I looked at my other batch of cocoa core, um, or coir, if you're feeling spicy. And I admit I did not use boiling water when I hydrated the brick. It took me like a couple hours to realize my mistake, and then I, looked up the proper way to do it and all that stuff. And so it is contaminated. I saw some stuff in there that definitely looked like it was living. Um, I've had it in a part of the basement where it's mostly sequestered, so I'm not too worried about anything else right now. Um, I've kept it far separate from everything else. I'm going to empty the rest of the little bit that I have in here into this to bulk it up a little bit. I'm going to plant out probably the white sweet potatoes because they're looking kind of the roughest. Um, I do see one that's really got a good um, root, so I might plant that and a couple of the other ones. And I am going to plant out 2 or 3 per level. I've had these sweet potatoes slipped in water for like 3 days. They're not looking great. They're actually looking very good considering. But the white ones, I got white, purple, and orange, I believe. The white ones are not looking good. So I'm going to plant a couple of the 6 slips I think that I got. And then I'll be planting white onions on the other side. And by the time the white onions are mature to um, either move to some other container, hydroponic container, or just to be flat out harvested, I can do that. And then the sweet potato will be able to fill up the entire rest of it. Because one sweet potato plant per level is like enough. If you're familiar with sweet potatoes, they can kind of go crazy. Okay. So I'm boiling more water now, so that I can hydrate another brick and do another level tonight. But I only have one bucket, and I don't really want to do this in a non-heat rated container. So I'm only going to do this one level for this video. I'll do one tonight. I'll do one tomorrow, and I'll probably just do a video after to show you guys the after of it all. Something really interesting that I found with gardening, I am, for the most part, I'm a perfectionist. But when it comes to gardening, I think I've learned how to be forgiving with myself maybe a little bit more. I've made a lot of mistakes with gardening. I tend to be like research, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, depending on the topic. I've been researching gardening stuff for years. And it's not until you actually do it, in the case of gardening, because there's so many variables and it's like an actual living thing. I tend to be a lot more gracious with myself and giving, and like allow myself to make mistakes, which I find really interesting because I'm not that way in a lot of other parts of my life. I have become more forgiving of myself, but I'm still pretty, hard on myself and have pretty high standards, even if they're not perfectionistic standards like they used to be. And gardening is one of those things where I allow myself to make mistakes. And also, it's okay. I think probably out of the 16 types of seeds that I started, maybe 12 types of seeds that I started about 5 weeks ago, almost every single one of them sprouted. All of the 20 plants that I put, or 19 plants that I put in the hydroponic systems that I have in the back, all but 3 of those sprouted. Like, when it gets to a point where I'm producing as much food as I would like to down here, I'm probably not going to be able to keep up. I'm probably going to have to create a system just to be able to manage the amount of, stuff that I am harvesting, and like, okay, I'm going to have a plan to make sure I use these things in my cooking um over the course of, a couple of weeks. But I make a lot of mistakes with gardening, and it does not seem to bother me as much. I find that really interesting. I don't know why it is, but I find it really interesting. Okay. Let me just check. I got to get ready for baby to come back. At some point, so I want to make sure I'm not lollygagging here. It feels like this is not quite fluffy enough. There's definitely 30% perlite in here. And also, it doesn't quite feel fluffy enough. And it's not as, what's the word? As bulky as I would like it to be. Now, I think that that's okay because of the way potatoes grow, both sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, I think. Do not quote me. Adding straw and stuff on top can allow potatoes to grow in, like, above the soil level. And I'm actually not quite sure. Where did I put that thing? Oh, it's right here. Actually, this is yeah. So people say that you should have the soil right up to here. That's not going to be the case today because it's just not. I don't have enough. I don't have enough stuff for it. So I'm going to just leave this here. I am going to plant it out. And the moisture in this already is pretty good. Is really good, I would say. So I'm actually not going to water it immediately. I'm going to let it just sit for a few minutes. And I'm going to get some air pockets out of there, and then I will tamp it down. I'm mostly just leveling this for so that I can plant the onion seeds in a way that makes sense. All right. I guess there's nothing to put on top at the moment, which is fine. I'm gonna take my sweet potato slips. See, they are not doing great. I've got these I know are the white ones, I believe. Let's see, the ones with purple are actually yellow. So these are the yellows on this side right here. And then on the back are the purples. So I'm going to plant 2 or 3 white ones because they're not looking great. And I need to get them out of here. So let's see how many I even have. You know what? I did throw away a couple because they didn't look great when I got them. This one is definitely rotted, so I'm going to pull that out. And these seem all like they're doing okay. I'm just going to go with the strongest inside. I also have 4 levels outside the house on the porch. Um, and I think I will plant the rest of these outside. I'm just going to try to plant the strongest 2, I think. Yeah, these are looking really, really good. So I'm just going to stop with these 2 and call that a day. Yeah. All right, so basically the plan is plant 2 sweet potato slips on one side, plant or put in spring onion seeds in 4 pockets. You have a really great start. And like I said, I have some planting space outside. So awesome. Okay. So I'm going to 1, 2, and then 4. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do, let's give it a little bit more space. It'll come out the side. So I'm actually going to plant these a little closer to the middle. I'm going to plant 3, maybe 3 or 4 white Lisbon onions per section. Those obviously can't hit the tier above them, so they have to be farther out. But the sweet potatoes, I'll plant a little closer into the base, and then they will find the light. I want to make sure that their roots have plenty of space. Okay. I feel like I have to keep switching my brain from soil to hydroponic. I'm like, I don't want to suffocate the roots. I'm like, wait a second. This isn't soil. How does that work? Like, that's actually what I'm thinking, because it's hard for me to remember. All right. Should I do? No, that's fine. All right. And so once these are pretty well established, I'm going to pull one of them. I have a feeling I'll be pulling this one. I'm not sure why. I don't know what kind of mulch I'm going to use for this, but since it will be under artificial light, I'm a little more concerned about, because it's a longer day, I am a little more concerned about algae on top, so I may get some more perlite and just make sure that there's a full layer on top, which will eventually, be mixed in as it gets watered and everything. That's fine. But want to get this fully established before anything else has a chance to take over. Especially since I'm going to be putting hydroponic nutrients through here. So between the cocoa coir and I don't remember vermiculite, but they don't provide any nutrients. So that's something that I'll have to add later. All right, so these are the onions that I'll be planting. White Lisbon. I thought something that looked like this was a spring onion. Maybe that's not true. I definitely do call them scallions, bunching onions. So, okay. I'm going to be planting these, I think it says 1/2 to 1 inch seed spacing You don't have to thin unless you desire larger, thicker bulbs. I don't want larger, thicker bulbs. These are for eating. So if the bulb is small, that's fine with me. Seed spacing. Yeah, so I'll probably do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably try 6 per, because why not? And unless I don't have enough seeds. I actually don't remember how big these are. Oh gosh, yeah. I don't have a lot of seeds at all. So, I'll actually show you what these look like. I might just wind up planting all of these. These are like larger than a chia seed. Let me show you. So here's my fingernail as a size comparison. They're pretty small. I have about 5, 10, 15 seeds total, so I'm just going to plant all of them. I'm going to plant 5, 5, and 5, I think. And so once these get to 20, 30 days and I start pulling them to eat, these will start to mature and we can go from there. Now it does say put the seeds, whatever the spacing is. Where did this thing go? How many seeds per? I thought that they usually tell you how many seeds per. How many seeds per hole? Is that the right word? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can tilt this up for a better view for you guys, but otherwise I'm gonna be limited in what I can show. So I'll plant out this one back here. So what I did was I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm actually gonna put just 5 over here. One, 2, 3. I mean, I literally have to watch for the seed to go in the hole because I'm like, I don't even feel it leave my fingers barely, and it's very hard to keep track of in this dark soil. Perfect. And again, I am going to put a little bit of mulch of some type on top. I might actually use a little bit of that vermiculite over there, or perlite vermiculite mix. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get this clip out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2. 3, 4. Okay. So these won't need any light for probably a week, depending. I actually don't know how fast these sprout. It says 10 to 15 days to emerge, which is a long time. I've never seen anything take that long, really. I think the longest was around 3 weeks, but it was something so specific. I almost threw it out. Anyway, okay, so this seed packet is now empty. I will have to find if I have any more. There are like some, yeah, there's other seed material in there, but I doubt it's viable. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it there. Just because this is going to be under artificial light, I kind of want to see if I can prevent some algae growth potentially by having this on top, because this does not hold moisture, whereas obviously the soil will, or the cocoa core will. I don't think it has to be a lot. I also don't think it has to be completely covered, but I just want to get most of it. Just to lessen my chances here. All right. I'll call that good. Okay, well, that's it for today. I'm going to start getting ready for the family to come home. Run that bottle washer on those dishes, etc., etc. Okay. Thank you all for joining me. It's been an hour, so I will probably post this and then see if there are any usable clips. But if you've been joining me, I appreciate you. See you next time.